Ready? Ready? Okay. I'd like to call our Finance and Audit meeting for March 6th, 2025 to order at 8:30 a.m. We have all members physically present except for Eric and Terry. Terry has asked to call in on the phone. Hey, Terry?
Yes.
Good morning. So can you tell us which of the three reasons per the board rules that you're not wanting to attend or can't attend, I should say?
I'm out of the country on business.
Okay. All right. So that would be
Work related.
that doesn't fit one of the three though. So the three, Terry, are personal illness or disability, employment purposes of business for the county board, or a family or other emergency.
Employment.
Employment. Yeah.
Okay, all right, well. Employment purposes.
That's it.
Sounds good. Okay, so that's number 2 then, just for information. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to have Terry be able to call in, Brian and John. Any questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Public comment, anyone? Nope. Member comment? Oh. Yes, Larry.
Well, we have a lot of resolutions for looking for money this morning, and instead of pulling these and I just take a blanket hit at a couple of them and say that I would commend the ones that have these different issues budgeted for or planned for the current budget year, instead of looking for new money that wasn't budgeted for. That's it.
Anyone else?
Sure. I just have a question with regards to the variety of reclassifications that we are getting. Is this we knew that these were coming along, and is there a reason that we don't just do all reclassifications at one time? So that's my question.
There's 2 examples. I mean, there are a couple that we didn't know about, and there were a couple that were the more significant ones. We had some adjustments to the state's attorneys last month, and that prompted the corresponding adjustments to the public defender this month. They're not a lot of dollars, but when we move a grade, it's in this organization's practice, and it's our HR department's rule. They're not going to change grades without the consent of the county board, without the blessing of the county board. So that's what's really driving that. Now, there's also one in the mental health board that kind of fits into that, just purely administrative undertaking. You know, we understand that the mental health board has autonomy to make these moves, but at the same time, it's our payroll system, it's our HR office, and we'd like to have it documented. It's not so much as approving, it's more acknowledging than anything else.
It's authorizing on our end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the authorization side of it
I had this discussion, you know, I said, I wouldn't even go so far as just to acknowledge it at the meeting and get it in the minutes. I wanted it public, but I think kind of after some discussion with Chairman Buehler and Chair Scala, we thought we may be best in this instance to just make a resolution, you know, so we have it on record. You know, Carrie needs to have a paper trail when the audit comes about, you know, where we're moving things around. I think it strengthens that. So that's what we're doing.
I have no objections to the reclassifications, and certainly because I want to recognize people for the work that they're actually doing. And I think that that's the way that it should be. And obviously, at times, they're going to be moving grades, and that's going to impact the finances. And I certainly am aware that the mental health board, they have, or the McHenry County Mental Health Board and others, they have their own operations and ability to do that, and it's just a recognition on our part. It just seems to me like those are coming through all of the time, and I'm wondering if we can't get to a system where we do these like twice a year, maybe just 2 flat standard times a year that we do those, because that's kind of our practice in some other areas, and I'm thinking that maybe that might be a benefit. So I'm not going to object to these at all. I'm certainly supportive, but I guess I'm just wondering if it's possible for us to get into a system where twice a year we just keep these and have all reclassifications. So,
You know, it's a good goal, and certainly we try to avoid them as much as we can. And, you know, we even, and this was maybe a little bit of the situation with mental health. We have in our budget rules and salary administration policy that we aren't going to make adjustments on wages and ranges in the final 2 months of the fiscal year. Because if we're into October, there's no reason that can't just be part of the final budget adjustments. That was something I've heard that was part of the reason for the delay in the mental health moves. Well, it could have been part of the budget, but it wasn't. And so then it came after the fact because the comment was, well, I couldn't do it at the end of the year. Yeah, but it could have been done with the budget, but it's here.
We have yeah, but I think that we end up having that same issue, say, for 7.1, which is, so when we get it, borrowing what's happening with the mental health board, when we get it so early in the year, it's challenging. And so sometimes, like when the state's attorney came in a year and a half ago, and just kind of, sometimes things happen, and that was that big shift for the whole state's attorney's office. But trying to get it in at the end. If other situations come up, maybe something's changed from a legislative or mandate kind of issue where you have to now to make a change in order to meet that, that's a different issue. But getting something like this early into the process rather than after the fact.
So just from our perspective, in the budget year 2024, there were 12 of these that were directly controlled, let's say, within this building. The other 47 that were done were either the state's attorney's office, the judicial center, the sheriff's office. Those areas that are somewhat out of our control when they want to make changes and do those types of adjustments. So, from a point of reference, there's just 12 of those that we had to deal with that were directly controlled by the staff that exists, that we're directly responsible for. The other ones were constitutional officers making changes in the departments and things along those types of lines. So. I think that's an important perspective to have on this as well. And many of those are new positions. A lot of those were new positions as well that were mandated by different things that took place to happen.
What was the numbers again? I'm sorry.
There were 42 resolutions in the last budget year.
Oh, I got you.
For these types of reclassifications or changes. Yeah.
15
of them are within kind of our direct control. And it amounted to $4,300 net.
but it's still, I mean, even the constitutional officers, we can encourage them to have a goal.
Oh, yeah, no question. I'm not trying to minimize, I'm just trying to put in perspective,
Right.
There's been comments made that we do a lot of these, and, in the overall scheme of things, it's important, I think, to look at the exact numbers and what's going on, what's happening.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Anything else? Welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to routine consent agenda. Are there items that members would like removed?
We also need to approve the minutes.
Oh, did I not do that?
Well,
I thought I did.
No,
No.
we approved Terry of participating.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to the minutes. I apologize. I need to entertain a motion for item 2.1, the minutes of February 6th. John and Carolyn, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Thank you for telling me to do that. All right. Now we're on to routine consent agenda. Are there items that members want to remove? Larry, you wanted something.
Yeah, 7, 6, 9, and 10.
7, 1, 6, 9, and 10. You weren't kidding, Larry. All right. Are there others?
7, 5 for me.
Terry, did you have something you wanted removed?
No, Larry covered it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve items 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, and 12.
So moved.
Larry and John. Go to vote. Eric?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. We're on to item 7.1. I'll entertain a motion.
Move.
Brian and John. Larry, you pulled this one?
Yeah, and it goes back to sort of what Carolyn was saying in her members' comments about how, you know, we're just past our first quarter of the fiscal year, and we have a counting situation. It's not a ton of money, I get that, but I read the questions, Adam, so thank you. I mean, you answered the questions well, but why, you know, I still have to ask is, you sort of had to know this was coming down the line, didn't you, or? I'm gonna put you on the spot because I feel like I'm being put on the spot when we approve the budget and 3 months later, somebody's coming back looking for change in their office.
I respect that, Larry, and I do agree with you, and I believe Mr. Kunkel had a similar question yesterday. This honestly started like around Thanksgiving in our department when the state approved the broadband map, and as part of my duties with broadband expansion, that's really ramped up. And it came around January, probably February, when things got a little crazy, and I started to have to move a couple of the things that I've been doing in the 7 years I've been here. I've moved a few things that were my responsibilities to this procurement specialist too. By that time, enough had been moved into that position that I did ask HR to look at it for the responsibilities. And quite frankly, HR came to me and said, Adam, we have a problem here. And it just happened on its own, and I apologize for the timing, and I recognize the timing, and I don't disagree with what everyone has said this morning. This one just happened to be, to really start right as the budget was approved.
No need for apologies. You recognized it, you took care of it, that's good. Your explanation was great, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, if not, we'll go to vote then for item 7.1. Brian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We're on the item 7.5. I'll entertain a motion. Larry and Carolyn. Eric, you pulled this one.
Yeah, I just see, we got an email this morning from Elizabeth Kessler on this with a bunch of questions. I wasn't sure, is there anyone that could address?
Elizabeth's here.
Oh,
I am
perfect.
here. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Yes,
morning.
I did receive the questions last evening. I did send those over this morning. So if there's any specifics that I can go into, I'm more than happy. We did a presentation to Planning, Environment, and Development under Chairman Smith earlier in the week and Vice Chair Campbell. Were there any questions I can answer?
Well, I apologize, I misread your name. It's Shannon that sent the questions over.
Correct, and I got it last evening and I did prepare responses. And again, clarification. Also, I want to apologize, the PDF conversion that we had initially included in the package, there's some graphics there with the org chart, and it went all kittywampus just, again, through a natural conversion. So we did catch that, that's been corrected.
Oh, I don't think I got that.
And since we posted, so.
And it's been posted, it's up, everything going, so all good. I appreciate Shannon's questions.
Okay, well, my apologies then. I'll take a look at these, and for now, I have no problem sending it to the full board.
That's fine. Anyone else? Larry?
As long as you're up here, I'll go back to that question I was asking you before the meeting about your cybersecurity and the cost, and if it's, where part of this is the mental health board uses, works with our cybersecurity program, and I was wondering if there'd be cost savings for your organization to do that, or if it's even a possibility.
Great question, and we're always.
And I don't expect you to have that answer. I just want to get it out there public since we had talked about it earlier.
I appreciate that, yes, and I think there's always, when there's great opportunity for efficiencies, it's worth a critical eye, and we can get back to you.
Yeah, good enough. I know earlier you said you'd look into it and get back to me, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Okay, then we'll go to vote on item 7.5. John?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
And Brian?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're on to item 7.6. I'll entertain a motion. Larry and Brian. Larry, you pulled this one.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure, Tom, is this a renewal or just something further on? Because I've talked to you before, or you come and talk to us about this penetration testing thing. This is something we've done before?
We've been doing this for at least 10 years.
Okay, and
We kind of have to do it in order to get cyber insurance. It's one of the requisites of getting that. At least that's my understanding. Scott, isn't that true?
Sir?
We have to do cybersecurity penetration testing for cyber insurance.
It is, yeah, it's one of the things that they require if we're not going through certain due diligence with our system, they can actually revoke our cybersecurity.
okay,
And
I
it would
just
be considered best practice.
yeah, that's great. I've seen this, and I know I've seen it before. I just was wondering if this is the same company, same money, or did we?
Well, it's gone up. Goes up every year. Most of the labor costs in IT have skyrocketed over the last 4 years. So it's more money than what we have paid. Not substantially. In year 2, it's going to be a little bit more money because we're doing the purple team testing, which is, so you have the company actually launch some attacks and you have your people try and see that, right?
Oh,
And then they react to it, right? So it's a learning experience for them so that when it really happens, they can react directly. We tried to cut down the cost, only doing that one of the 3 years, right? Additionally, I don't think we have time for it this year, but we were trying to keep an eye on the costs and keep that
okay.
down.
Well, that's good to know because I was a little curious about that money moving up and down each year. But
Right.
yeah, okay, that's it for me.
Can I just provide a clarification? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I indicated a revocation. I'm sorry, it should have been, it could affect our renewal for next year if we're not doing a due diligence or best management practices for cyber security insurance.
Other members have questions?
Okay.
Terry? Or, sorry, Carolyn?
And then you may have just handled it, I'm not sure if I just missed it. So in here it says it's saying it's going up 3% each year, but the third year is less than the second year. Is it just out of order or is it just because?
No, he'll explain it again if you want.
Okay, so that was because of whether or not we do it or that certain part of it is done in a particular year?
Yeah, we're only doing the purple team testing in year 2. We're not doing it in year 1 or
Year
3.
3, got it. Okay, thank you. As soon as you said that, I realized you answered my question, but wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, so I understand you spoke to administrative services about the situation at TC and Valley High.
Correct.
Can
Would you like to hear that?
enlighten us in a consolidated?
Define consolidation.
Well, it's gonna be a short meeting.
2 minutes or less? I don't know. I mean, I understand that went 20 minutes, so you know.
So we have multiple internet connections coming into this facility, right? And then we have, and that's called AT&T Internet and NIU Internet, right? We're gonna be transitioning out of NIU Internet into Comcast Internet probably around July because NIU has a lot of trouble staying up. Then we deliver that internet out to our remotes via AT&T ASE, right? So that's their networking product. So what happened on that particular day was that the AT&T Internet and AT&T ASE went down. And that wasn't a problem just for us, it was more regional. The problem was actually some cards in Colorado. There is backup at Valley High and DOT through Starlink, but there's not a lot of bandwidth with that, right? The bandwidth is severely degraded. So And Valley High, through quality of service, gets most of that bandwidth because they're dealing with life and death, right? We recognize this as a problem for a couple of years now. Valley High has actually budgeted money this year to remedy that, right? We have numbers from Comcast on what they could deliver through their own networking product called Comcast ENS, right? So we could put Comcast ENS out to Valley High. It's about $5,500 a month because there's a $180,000 build-out cost. I did contact NTI, who is our fiber provider. They do all of our restoration when there's cuts in that. And they estimated to get fiber out there, dark fiber out there, it'd be about 1.6 million, give or take. I mean, it's a rough number. They just looked at Google Maps, right? So it would take a long time for us to get up to 1.6 million, paying $5,500 a month. It seems like a decent deal. It would up their bandwidth too. We would switch it from AT&T being the primary to Comcast being the primary because they would give us 10 meg, right? Right now we've only got 2 meg through AT&T, and that's shared amongst all the remote sites. So I mean, the short story is they weren't completely down, but it was so slow it seemed like it was down. And it was a regional outage, not just specific to us. And like I think you mentioned, we do have multiple internet connections coming in here. It was just delivering it out there.
Okay. All right. Yes.
That was an incredibly understandable explanation, so thank you very much. But I gotta ask, do you enjoy this stuff?
You mean sitting here telling you guys?
Well, now that you mentioned.
Yeah, it's fun.
That was a good comeback.
All right, anything else? All right, we'll go to vote on item 7.6 then. Carolyn?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. We're on to item 7.9, I'll entertain a motion. Larry and John. Larry, you pulled this one.
I did. There he is, just the guy we're looking for. So I read through this the best I could, and I realized that this is something that came down after our budget year, so I'm not picking on you about that or anything. But I couldn't figure out whether you're gonna have somebody within your department get classified for this position, or if you're bringing on a whole new full-time employee.
It would be a new employee.
Okay, and that'll have to be fit into next year's budget.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when this person gets there, there won't be and obviously more qualified than whoever's there. Maybe I shouldn't word it like that. It's not that you're gonna be able to eliminate a position with this new person.
I did do a proof of concept, utilizing Workforce has and Jeff can correct me on the title of the name, in Lake County, it's Learn, Work, Earn. But the federal government paid for an intern since late August, early September, that I could proof of concept this position of resiliency. I'd need another body for a number of years, but understand budgets and understand whatever. Things that happened by the state in the last year, and actually it was evolving for 2 years, really pushed my hand that I have more work coming in from the state than I can handle with the people I have. And I can only keep the workforce. I extended 3 times? 3 times. I extended, usually it's 240 hours you can get out of the intern, and I extended it 3 times. And next Friday, that expires, that I can't extend the position any longer. So the state admin rule changed, 2 of the rules changed, 620 and 301, that of the requirements I have, the needs of the county are increasing. None of our, except for one community, none of our communities have their own EMA or what used to be known as ESDA. So we support that. We provide that service as the county to those municipalities, and that's per administrative rule in the EMA Act. It just, I don't have enough bodies to do that job. Seeing the direction it was going, I did want to do it going into this year, but I had that same limitation I was given that you can't make those changes the last 2 months of the budget. And I turned my budget in June, so I thought it was locked on that. And that's why it's coming up now. I tried to make do with an intern program, but that's expiring for me. So, the proof of concept, working with workforce and finding the right person, worked phenomenal. And I could see a lot more applications across the county departments of utilizing that program to find people. It turns into for us, a 5-month interview process to find the right people to do the job that we need done. This isn't in the college handbook of, hey, I want to be an emergency management specialist in resiliency. So it takes some work to find the right person and to really detail the job because it is a new position.
Yeah, I did see the qualifications and reporting requirements were pretty intense.
Yes, they are.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other questions? Brian?
There is a hiring procedure, of course, within the county, but is your thought process then just kind of over here, is your thought process to hire the intern that's been with you?
That was the thought process, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, we'll go to vote on item 7.9 then. Larry?
Oh, wait,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Terry.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I had my hand up. I didn't know if that actually worked. But I just wanted to clarify too, this is under basically federal regulations that we have these positions in order to support this process?
No, state mandates.
Okay.
State mandates to do what we do.
Okay, because in the resolution, it's referencing, that was a federal grant that we were getting the intern program.
If I can clarify, the federal grant, that was actually through Workforce Network and the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. So the intern came to us really, and that was not on the county general fund, it was under the Workforce Networks Fund through the WIOA grant. So basically we had the benefit of this position for, David, you said 5 months?
Correct. Yeah.
Going on 5 months, that was covered by non-county monies, covered by federal money. That grant, or that opportunity is expiring, and we have this individual, David, has recognized a lot of skill and quality with this individual. And I would say based on the needs, and if you really want to go through the needs, during the February meeting cycle, David gave a really good presentation to Law, Government, Liquor Committee on the needs, on the changing of these regulations. But based on these new needs and new mandates on his office, and the fact that he has not increased the staff since you walked in the door, which is how many years ago?
18
years ago. Really, the need is there. And so I think that Law, Government, Liquor had a good presentation, recognized the need, justified the need, and that was last meeting cycle. Now it's going through for formalization this one, through this one. But yeah, but now it's going to be conversion from the WIOA grant funding source to actually county funding source.
And if I could add, there's another grant that I have a risk of losing if I don't meet the requirements. It's federal requirements for the grant, but it's state mandates of what I do to get that federal grant. Our state adds additional requirements onto grants that come from the federal government. They're a pass-through to us. But if I don't meet the state's requirements, then I lose that money also.
Terry, do you have
Thank you for the clarification. No, I just want to say thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we'll go to vote then on item 7.9. Larry?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Thank you so much.
Carries.
Thank you.
We're on the item 710. I'll entertain a motion. Brian, John, Larry?
Yeah, this is the 6 positions within the public defender's roster. And when I read the explanation, it says for a total of $2,629. And I just was wondering, is that total for one, total for all 6? I couldn't clarify that in my
So
head.
it's an estimate for all 6 because there's one position that will be moving for sure, because that position, when it goes to the new grade, they have to get moved to the floor of the new grade. But then the other 5 positions, it really depends. Like, I know one of them is vacant right now. So I put 2,300 as the max, but.
But that's for all 6 added together?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
It will probably be much less than that, depending on where they fall in when they hire the new position.
It seems like an insignificant amount to retain public defenders. I mean, part
Well,
of it
and
is,
remember this, they have
It's
to,
more about moving the grade than the dollars.
they have to be equitable with the state's attorney. So it's really in direct, and this was my fault. When I did state's attorney last month, I forgot about public defender. Mark reminded me, yes.
yeah, and that's fine, things happen. It just seemed like a rather insignificant amount, but it's pretty much, it's sort of cleaning up, making the playing field even.
Yes, correct. And really, we're trying to get away from this of saying like it can be absorbed into their budget, because I think sometimes it can be and sometimes it can't. And specifically with the public defender, they have a large personnel budget, but they're really mostly full, and I didn't want them to run out of budget.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, we'll go to vote on item 710. Terry?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion carries. Why'd you move? You're back up again.
On 2 things, right? I'm going to think again.
For my report, I don't have a ton, I'm sorry.
You don't have to have a ton. You're supposed to have the things that are critical to the functionality.
Yeah.
It's good.
Are we doing advanced McHenry County, or is she doing her report?
Yeah, there is none, because we do it every other month,
Okay.
or every quarter, I
Every
guess.
quarter, yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
So first, I would like to report that Baker Tilly will be here next week doing their final audit field work.
Are they bringing donuts?
I think we should bring donuts for them, maybe.
We should.
So they will be, they'll be remote on Monday and Friday, but they will be in the P&T conference room Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if, after the cow next Thursday, if you want to stop in, if you have questions, comments, say hi, or,
All you do is see a bunch of computers and people doing this all over
I
again.
know, and they look up, yeah. But, I would like to kind of, give a shout out to the finance department. So for the first time since I think I've been here at the county, we have everything done for the final field work, including the conversion entry worksheets, the cash worksheets, all the grants. So I'm really excited. I think we're in a good place. Jody Venisi, she's kind of the lead on the audit, and she's doing awesome. But really, it's been a big group effort, because we're also down a position. But I also, negotiated with Division of Transportation. We have someone over helping us. She was interested in kind of furthering some of her accounting experience, and she's done a lot of work with fixed assets. And in the past, that was one of our holdups for final field work. So that's all done, and It's so exciting. It's really exciting. So not only is it done for the audit, but she's also working on a process, because really in D365, recording the fixed assets, it has some really cool functionality that, it's all about process and how you get it in at the front end. So now that we're done with audit, really kind of focusing in on making sure we're recording them correctly throughout the year. So I know I think it's exciting.
Congratulations, I think that's fantastic. Give you a round of applause if it's in.
Well, no, that's fine. So that's why I don't honestly have a ton to present for you guys today, because we've been trying to get everything, the trial balance is due today, so there's the last few entries, getting those ready. And yeah, I'm actually excited about audit, so.
Well, that works.
Yeah. And so this came up a little yesterday, and I think you guys have been talking about it a little bit today. So I put something together. In D365, we have the unique, it tracks original budget and then revised budget. So original budget is whatever is passed in November, and that never changes. And then any changes to the budget fall into the revised column. So what I did here quick was just super high level. We talk about the total budget, the revisions, and then where we ended. Because I have been getting a lot of questions about, how much did we actually add to the budget in '24. So the top is all funds, the bottom is the general fund. And if you remember in January every year, you pass a resolution that rolls forward purchase orders from '24 into '25. So that's not really new budget, it's just, we budget for projects in one year and we roll them forward. So I isolated that in the middle column because it's kind of outside of, I think, the discussion that you guys want to have about actual increases. So the last column is the original, the revised, and then the final budget. So then down below that, I just kind of broke out where those revisions were happening, in which bucket. So then I further broke out for the general fund, the personnel, the 3.5 million, what resolutions specifically increase that. So outside of maybe the health department grant for the 295, all the rest of those are going to be recurring.
Is there some way Terry can see this? We don't have it for the.
Oh, shoot, yes. Kathy, can you send me an invite, please?
Thank you.
Sure, I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask that very thing. Is it emailed or? I mean, it wasn't in my email now.
She's going to put it up on the screen for you.
So is this something that you guys want to see like every quarter? Do you want to see more detail? It really came up yesterday, so that's why I wanted to at least have something basic set up today.
Can you, for the 2.645 million and the very first one on the personnel resolutions, can you just talk about the budget adjustment based on the actual? Like, what is that saying right there?
So that was the resolution.
Can you say where you're at again, please?
Bottom right corner, top line. 2.645.
Oh, I thought you said, I reversed your numbers.
Oh.
2.6, sorry. Couldn't find the 6.2. That's it.
Okay, Terry, can you see that now?
Yes, will I still be able to get a?
Yes, I will email this out to everybody.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So this resolution actually went through last month, and it was adjusting the 2024 budget. And probably starting last summer, I started to realize that most likely we were going to run out of personnel budget. And I know that I talked about it, but I wanted to wait until we had all the final accrual numbers in to come up with this number. And really what surprised me a little bit was it really was not a budget issue, but it seemed to be an actual issue. You know, we budgeted, I think, a 4% increase, and we ended up in the general fund like around an 8% increase. So this resolution, that's why I say that this particular resolution will be an ongoing cost, because it was really in response to actual, which we know is going to continue to grow. So that was a little concerning to me, to be honest, because we kind of knew that personnel inflation we're starting to see it, you know, and it kind of feeds back to your comments about all these reclasses. And not to say that they're not important, but, you know, now we're seeing the impact on the financials.
Okay, thank you.
So just so I'm clear, in the last column, I'm in the top right of the resolutions, there was an additional $19.5 million in money spent that wasn't budgeted for.
Budgeted. There was an additional $19 million that was, so the original budget was
246.
246.
Yeah,
And we increased through emergency appropriations by 19 million.
okay.
I mean, really, we increased, plus the 135, but I'll keep that out.
Right, I understand what that
Yeah.
is, but for purposes of the conversation and what we've been talking about for the last few months is that
Yeah,
effectively we spent an additional $19.5 million over what we thought we were going to spend from a budget standpoint.
not budgeted for.
Right.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the breakdown of that is below.
Right.
So a lot of it, you know, is personnel. Oh, so the personnel piece up at the top was about 3 million of that is part of the resolution that I have listed below. It's just for the special funds.
Okay, so the
Okay.
bottom right-hand corner is all special funds.
No, so the top section, so the 9.2 increase for personnel, that's all funds. And of that 9.2, 3.5 is from the general fund. The rest is from special funds. You know, the top section, it's a little hard because there's more grant-dependent things at the top. And so that's why I tried to focus on general. If you want some more information on the 19, I can get that. And then on the flip side of your document is 25, which we don't have a lot of changes yet.
Can you highlight
On the flip side.
25 since?
Oh, you must have my original.
Oh.
Kathy, you have extras of this. Thanks.
Are you going to, Sherry, are you going to the 25 tab?
Oh.
Yeah, can you-
So to be clear, of the 9.2 million, and that, so the revisions below take out the rolling forward resolution.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, I think,
So the 9.2, you're saying 3.5%, 3.5 million, is that down below?
is just general fund.
Is just general fund, the rest is coming out of personnel for special funds.
Correct. I tried to focus on personnel because really that's the majority of our ongoing costs.
thought it was absolutely crazy because I was looking at this one thing and I was trying to figure out these numbers, like, this is the backside only.
Oh, so I'm sorry. So you must have got the second sheet of.
Of the original, that's floating around, yeah, you guys
Peter,
can
thank
pass
you.
that back to her.
I was like,
'Cause this is-
oh, now it's all clear. Thank you.
So what you're saying here on 25 is that outside of grants, well, we know that there's other ones that are coming on our,
Correct, it doesn't include the March ones.
right, but as of February, it's all been grant driven.
Yes,
That'll change after,
yes.
yeah. okay.
Because the state's attorney went last month and changed budget. And so again, I think it's, you know, HR has their list and we have our list. And I think it's important that we keep looking at both. But you know, there are position changes that don't impact the budget, at least when they initially go through. But they can impact the budget, you know, going forward.
But we'll know that with the fancy little new changes to it.
I think it's better to just be realistic about what's gonna happen with it in the future, if we at least have an idea.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to say about 25?
No,
Okay.
I mean, unless you have questions.
We kind of talked somewhat informally about almost making this update to 25 a routine part of the agenda, you know?
Yeah.
Not unlike we update on utilization of the contingency fund. This is really more impactful in some respects. I mean, it doesn't, I'm not speaking for you, but it doesn't seem like a big lift to just kind of do this every month and just kind of show where we're at with the current fiscal year.
I think it's important, especially as we start thinking about our June budget meeting, you know, knowing the impact of all the decisions and how that plays a part.
So why don't we just get rid of the contingency report on the reports and substitute this instead?
That's fine.
Because we never really have much on the contingency report. And that would show anyway, so. A better substitution.
Okay.
All right. Did you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Does
Unless you have questions.
board members have questions? No? Okay.
I do have a question. Oh, sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there, how difficult it'd be to, you know, for these revisions to show, you said in that 2.3 there are, oh, the word just went out of my head. There's money we received to pay for some of that.
The grant funding.
Grant funding,
Yeah, that's another question.
correct? So is there a way to show what that grant funding number is? So this 2.3 is, we increased the budget, but of that 2.3, 500,000 was paid by grants, so it's really not.
Which was like a utilization of fund balance and which was revenue.
Okay. But is there a way to stick that in so we kind of know that
Yes.
that's not coming out of our pocket?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So to that end, can you then explain down the far right column about personnel? Because you've got that there, you've got the grant and then the sheriff's. Are you saying?
The 131,000,
Yeah.
that is, we receive grant money for both of those. So the offset is revenue, not fund balance.
Yeah, so she broke it out general fund because general fund is where the property taxes are, which is where the board
Yeah.
always focuses on. But what John is requesting is that all funds be segregated like that also.
Right.
Okay.
I get you.
Yeah,
That would be very useful. I agree.
because I get better, instead of someone grabbing out of this number and saying, we did this, it's like, okay, it is 2.3 to the budget, but the real, I mean, from our bank account standpoint.
Right.
I mean, I'm simplifying, I recognize that. It was,
So if you look at 24 for personnel, so the two that I have identified is the HD grant and then the sheriff's step grant. All the rest of them is utilization of fund balance.
Okay.
So you just wanna see, I'll make another column.
Well, there's other grants besides just personnel, right? I guess-
Yeah, that's a lot of some of the other revisions.
Okay, right.
Especially in contractuals. Contractuals are grants and then some changes to the jail, healthcare and food. That's the majority of those.
And then from that, some of these grants wouldn't be available going forward. I mean, some of them, like we get the grant for a period of time, it pays for it, and then it's not available going forward. And then we have to reevaluate, right, the position, or is there a way to?
Yes. And sometimes we have grants, a lot of them, they're just, the grant term is for 1 year. But like some of the health department grants, they're technically only a year, but we get them every year. So that kind of rolls over. And then some of these other ones, I think this 295 for health department, it's hard because they're not all consistent. I'll have to go back and look this one. But it's more, this 295, they would use a general fund position to do that work. And then when the work is done, they would go back. So it's really kind of a reimbursement to the general fund. But we can distinguish that too.
So just to finalize this and clarify it, it is possible, okay, for you to put in here a grant column for us, and then you would also be able to say, this is the amount that comes out of the reserve fund.
Correct, yeah.
So you can do that. I think that would be very useful. So that clears it up totally for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, congratulations on the audit.
Thank you. Well, we're not there yet, but
Don't tell us that.
I know,
You're on a good roll there. Just let
that's
us
what Tony and I were talking the other day.
Yeah.
So what are your feelings about findings?
Well,
How are
so
you feeling about what?
Findings.
our biggest finding last year was, they had to help do some of the report. And kind of my argument was, it's not all or nothing. Well, I know some municipalities, it's like they just say, here, like go do our report. Where we did almost everything except for the conversion entries. So I think he added a little sentence in there like, so this year, hopefully we're not gonna have any audit entries. But outside of that, we have everything else prepared, so.
Great, fantastic.
Everybody's afraid of findings. Findings are not a big deal. It's just like any teacher, you look at things and you figure you gotta say something, so you.
Well, I know, that's.
I don't know many places that have completely clean reports.
Exactly.
Well, the vast majority of governments have the finding we have in the past about them preparing a portion of the statements, so.
If they end up finding no findings for a couple of years in a row, what the hell do we need them, right?
Maybe that means they're being very
You just want to slip something in there?
Yeah,
Just to
right.
keep honest.
Exactly. All right, EDC, so EDC has, I think I shared with everyone, they're over at MCC now. They're still setting things up, but it's moving along very well. There was a new individual that was hired in the office last week.
I think they started this week.
Well, but I mean, they were hired last week, I believe, so. And we're excited to have her be a part of EDC, so she's gonna be helping Mark with marketing and kind of the forward outside role of EDC. We're still probably gonna be looking at hiring a third individual, but that's kind of onboarding the new one first and get that all going before we start looking towards getting the third person.
Is there anything else that I'm missing?
Her
There
name.
is a meeting next week
Next week, Tuesday, yeah.
Probably noteworthy, Mike, is that get my dates right here. The next meeting of McHenry dinner is going to be focused on MCEDC. And I think it's going to be Wednesday the 19th. Jalen has not sent out the invites yet, but I expect that those will go out shortly. It's going to be at the Woodstock Opera House, so it's going to be a cool setting, and Mark's going to be the principal speaker, and kind of, I think, reconnecting with the mayors and village presidents a little bit more than McHenry has done, or than MCEDC has done in the past. Talking about his quarterly meetings with the municipal economic development directors and chamber of commerce directors and such. So it'll be an important meeting.
Oh, and the Advanced McHenry County project kicked off this week on Tuesday. They had a meeting for that, and it went well, and so they're starting that whole process.
Is it the 19th, is it, or not, isn't it the 26th, fourth Wednesday of the month?
I believe this one is on the 19th.
What did you say?
McHenry.
Yeah, McHenry's on the 19th.
It's no person's name, in case I run into it.
I don't even know.
Okay.
What, do you remember what her name is?
Kristen?
Kristen? Okay. Kristen, I guess.
She's
I haven't met her. I didn't do the interview, so I
Yeah,
just.
no, it's
younger
okay.
woman, super energetic and conversant, and a really good
Were you part of the interview?
I was.
Oh, okay.
I was.
That's why you
Just
know.
like a little head start if I get a chance to meet her.
Local woman, born and raised in Wonder Lake.
Okay, close enough.
All right.
I tried the hand raise again.
Okay.
Did MCEDC have any comments or feedback on the U.S. glove loss of funding from USA?
Not that I know of.
Well, I would be interested when, when information shared, they received the award and something hitting our county pretty close, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
What was that? USA Aid for U.S. Glove?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any change. I will tell you, Monday, when I was in Congressman LaHood's office, he was asking for any update on U.S. medical glove because he was having a phone call with their owner later this week, I think Friday. I did reach out to Lou Leone in Harvard yesterday afternoon, and we've not connected yet to see if Lou knew anything that was going on there. Similarly, I did reach out to Mark Picos, and Mark Picos was not aware of any changes in their status, but that may be related, Terry, that there was a phone call with Congressman LaHood scheduled.
Thank you.
Okay. Scott?
National McHenry County, just two brief updates. So this month, NMC will be moving its office from Huntley to the Woodstock Square. Really excited about that move. April 1st, they should be in full operation in their new office. So we're really excited about that. And then NMC continues to work on a strategic plan. And on the note of strategic plan, they were actually here last week and as one of our many partners to provide feedback to our McHenry County's strategic plan facilitators, just so as you work on yours, you'll kind of have some insight from National McHenry County as well as MCEDC. And we also had the Housing Authority, Conservation District there, the Mental Health Board, MCC, McCog. So we had a lot of your partners working on your strategic plan, but NMC was one of them, and hopefully that will give you some good insight too as you work on April 23rd at your workshop. See, that's a shameless plug for the strategic plan. So, any questions on that?
Why was it shameless?
Oh, you're right, it wasn't. It was actually, I was really proud of that one.
Okay. All right, with that, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 9:30 a.m. Larry and John, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.